A very warm welcome to each and everyone present today. My name is Vineet and I'll be the instructor for all of you. Now we have gathered here today to start with the journey of Java, that is we'll grab few concepts that will help you understand how to write Java programs, okay? We'll be starting from the very scratch, that is we'll understand the data types first of all, that is the ABCD of Java, okay? Then we'll move on, we'll go further and we'll understand the basic constructs available in Java like the if-else construct, for loop, while loop, do while loop. We'll understand what are methods in Java. We'll understand what are classes, how to create an object of a class. We'll understand what are variables and what are static variables. Okay. So I hope this content is quite clear to you. That will be covered in today's class. And then again, when we'll move to the next class, I'll tell you the content there itself. So without wasting any more time, I'll just start with the class now. I'll move on to the very first slide and I come to what is Java. Now guys, would you like to tell me what is Java? What do you think Java is? Vijay says, will there be exercises to test our knowledge? Absolutely yes, Vijay, you'll be receiving the assignments from my end. Okay? Along with the recording of the class, don't forget. Okay, as you can see right in the presentation, that is Java is not just a programming language, but it is a complete platform for object-oriented programming. Yes, Kalyan, that is absolutely right. That means Java follows the concept of object-oriented programming like the inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, and so on, right? Now everything in Java starts from a class. Using that class, you create an object of the class, and every operation that you perform in Java is revolving around objects. Okay, if you have to do anything, you'll have to create an object of a class first, and then only you can use different things, you can perform different operations. For now, you should understand you have to create an object and then do something in Java. I'll be showing you how to create an object and what is a class, right? Now along with Java, you have got two things in Java. First of all, JRE, that is the Java runtime environment. Whenever you have to run a Java application, in that case, this JRE has to be installed onto your system. If it is not installed, you won't be able to run Java applications because it provides the support of the standard libraries that are used to create that application, and these libraries will also be used while running an application, right? Now what is JDK? JDK is Java Development Kit. Whenever you have to develop a Java application, in that case you need JDK to be installed onto your system. If it is not installed, you won't be able to develop a Java application. So guys, are you clear with these 3 points? These are quite simple. That is Java, JRE and JDK. Please write down on the chat window. Ravi says yes. Okay, what about the rest of you? Is Ravi the only one who has understood it? Vijay says yes, Siddharth says yes, Anil says yes. And you could have also said what is there to understand in this. This is quite simple, right? Okay, then I'll show you. If these two things are installed on your system, you can find them on computer, C drive, program files. Then again, you'll find a Java folder and you can find JDK and JRE. Okay, you'll find things within that. So these are already installed onto my system. If you have installed them, then you'll find these folders in your program files within the Java folder. Okay. Now I come to Java Virtual Machine. Now Java is a programming language. There are other programming languages as well. Now there is a special thing about Java that made it so popular. That is, Java is a platform independent language. That means it could run on any kind of operating system, like it could run on a Windows operating system, it could run on Mac operating system or a Linux operating system. Okay, it does not depend on the platform. It can run on any kind of platform. So it is a platform independent language. Now, how does Java become platform independent? Now behind the screen, you have got two things. One is Java Virtual Machine and the second is bytecode. These are the two things that actually makes Java platform independent. Okay. Now I'll tell you how it does that. Now, whenever you write a Java application that is present in the source code, it is called the source code, which is present in a .java file. Okay, it is a human readable code, like you have command system.out.println. You can understand print system out. Okay, so English words are used in it, so it is human readable. So that is called the source code, which is present in a .java file. After you compile that code using the Java C compiler, Then again, your .java file gets converted into a .class file which contains the bytecode within that. Bytecode is an intermediate language, okay? It is an intermediate language that is sent to some other system. Your source code is not sent to some other system where it has to run. In real thing, what is sent? Your bytecode is sent, which is present in the .class file, to some other system that will be the runtime system, okay? Now, when it reaches the runtime system, there will be a JVM present. With every operating system, there is a different JVM. So JVM is a machine dependent component. For a Windows operating system, there will be a different JVM. For Linux, there would be a different one. Similarly, for Mac, there would be a different JVM. But every JVM has got a similar property, that is, it can understand the bytecode, and then finally it will convert it into instructions that could be understood by their own operating system. Okay, so you write a Java application on your end, that application is compiled and converted into bytecode, which is present in .class file. Now this file is sent to some other system that will be the runtime system. There it will encounter a JVM which will just interpret, it will convert the bytecode into instructions that could be run, that could be understood by their own operating system. And this is how Java becomes platform independent. Okay, Vijay has a question. I'll come up with that. But before that, please let me know if you're clear with the entire explanation that I've given to you, how Java becomes platform independent. Anil says yes. Vijay says, is JRE a subset of JDK, and is JDK present in JVM? No. JRE and JDK are two different things, but when you go to Java website, Oracle website, and you want to install both of them, you just download the JDK, and along with that you'll find JRE also. Okay, they are not the subset of each other. And in JVM you won't find JDK. You'll see what is present in JVM. Okay, I'll show you. Now JVM also handles the memory management in Java, that is, it frees the memory with the unrequired object. Okay, it deletes them. So it also handles the memory management. So Vijay, did I answer your query? Please give me a confirmation and then I'll move. Okay, he says yeah. Very good then. So moving on, I come to how Java works. A similar thing that I explained to you right now, that is, Java compilers convert your code from human readable to something called bytecode in Java world. Now this bytecode is sent, first of all it is sent to some other system, it will encounter the JVM, there bytecode is interpreted by a JVM. When I say interpreted, it is read line by line. First it reads the first line of bytecode, it converts it into instructions, then it comes to the second line, does the same thing, then third line, and so on. So it does it line by line. So it is an interpreter, there is a Java interpreter present within the JVM. Now, just-in-time compiler is a program that turns the Java bytecode into instructions that could be sent directly to the processor. Now, there is a just-in-time compiler which is also present within the JVM, which compiles the bytecode instead of interpreting it. Okay? So your JVM has got two things. One is the Java interpreter. The second thing is just-in-time compiler. Interpreter interprets the bytecode and just-in-time compiler compiles the bytecode. I'll tell you where just-in-time compiler is used. In the starting, interpreter is the one which will be welcoming the bytecode. It will be interpreting it. When the bytecode reaches the JVM, interpreter starts interpreting it, and just-in-time compiler is only called when it is required. Okay? Raghav says, is JDK bundled with JVM and Java compiler both, or system is pre-installed with JVM? Now, system is pre-installed with JVM, Raghav. And JDK is not bundled with JVM. If JDK is already bundled with JVM, why do you want to install JDK then, right? Raghav says, thank you. Sir, no need to call me sir. I'm not sir. I'm not that old, right? You can call me Vineet. My name is Vineet and you can call me Vineet, right? So I hope you're quite clear with this particular part. I'll just move on to the next one and I'll explain this diagram that will help you to understand the previous things. Okay. Now, We can divide the entire environment into compile time environment and runtime environment. In compile time environment, you write your Java source code which is present in the .java file. Then using the JavaC compiler, your code gets converted into Java bytecode which is contained in a .class file. This file is sent to some other system. There it is called the runtime environment, okay? And this bytecode could be sent locally or through network. It reaches the runtime environment and there it will find a class loader. Class loader, as the name suggests, will load the .class file, and the bytecode verifier will verify the bytecode that is present within the class file with the help of Java class libraries, okay? Once the entire process is done, that is every bytecode is verified, this bytecode is sent to Java virtual machine right over here as you can see. Now JVM contains two things, one is the Java interpreter and the second thing is just-in-time compiler. Now when the bytecode reaches, this is the portion, this is the part that will actively interpret the bytecode, okay? It will be the one that will be converting the bytecode into instructions. Now what is the use of just-in-time compiler? Just-in-time compiler is called whenever it is required, that is just in time. Now what is that time? I'll tell you. When the bytecode comes, it is getting interpreted by the Java interpreter. Now there are times when a particular part of the code is called again and again, okay? It is used again and again. It is redundant. In that case, what does interpreter do? It will send that part of the code to the just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiler will compile that part of the code and it will save the instructions in the cache memory. Now whenever this interpreter will again encounter that code, in that case what will happen? It won't interpret it. It will directly fetch the instructions from the cache memory and it will use it and it will move on to the next code. This way the execution time reduces, okay? Your application runs faster and this is the basic motive of just-in-time compiler, okay? And finally, when the entire code is interpreted or converted into instructions, your application runs on your runtime environment, okay? So everyone, please let me know, are you clear with the entire diagram that is right in front of you? Come on guys, write down on the chat. Vijay says yes, Kalyan says yes, Ravi says yes, Raghav says yes, Anil and Siddharth also says yes. Vinay also says yes. Thank you all for replying. I'll just move on to the next one then. I come to basic Java syntax. Now it's time for us to start with the actual programming. Okay, these were the theoretical concept, that is to understand the flow of execution, everything, right? Now we come to how to actually write a Java application. So we come to the very scratch. We come to data types in Java. Now Vijay says, does JID only work on repeatable code? No, there are certain more aspects, not just the repeatable code, Vijay, but I'm here to tell you the syntax of Java. I'm here to tell you how to write the Java programs. Okay, I've given you a general overview. Now you can go on and search, explore JVM as much as you can. Okay, Vijay? I just gave an example so that you can understand where it is used. Right? Okay. He says okay. He says thank you. You're welcome. Now I come to data types in Java. Now why are data types required? First of all, it is required because in real world you've got many types of values. You've got numbers, you've got letters, you've got sentences. So how to use these different kinds of values that are present in real world into your Java application. How your Java application will understand that this is a number, this is a string, this is a character. Okay, now for that we have got data types in Java which defines the nature of a value. What kind of value is it? Okay, so data types define the nature of value, whether it is a number or a character or a string or any other thing, right? We need different data types to handle the real world information, as I already said. Now different data types like long, integer, short, byte, double, float, character, boolean. You have other data types as well, like you've got string, you've got more data types. Okay, you can see them, you'll get to them, you'll get to know them when we come to practical examples. Okay, so these are the data types in Java. Now we come to the naming convention of variables. First of all, what are variables? Variables are something, they are like containers which can store values into it so that you can use those values in your Java application. Okay, So you have a container, you can use that container in your Java application so that it can store some value, and you can use the container whenever you require the value in your application. Now, how to declare, how to name those variables, okay? Now, for declaring those variables, you can start the name of the variable with a letter, you can start with an underscore, or you can start with a dollar sign. These are the three initials that you can use while declaring a variable, while defining the name of a variable. You cannot start with a number. If you do so, you'll get a compile time error there and then. Now, let me show you some examples of variables. Like you have got the variable name starting with underscore. So it is completely fine. You can see that before the name of the variable, we are mentioning the data type like long. We are telling the Java application that this is a container, this is a variable that can store a value of this particular type. So you write the type first of all, then you write the name of the variable. If you want to put some value to it, then you'll write the equals to sign, or you call it as an assignment operator, and after that you put the value to it and you put a semicolon. So you are assigning this value to this variable, and you have already defined that the value would be of long type. If you put any other value, like you put a string into this, it will give you an error. Okay. Similarly, you've got string, variable name starting with a letter, that is fine, equals to double quotes and John. Whenever you save a string, whenever you use a string, you'll be passing the string in double quotes. Starting with a dollar sign is absolutely fine. Starting with a letter is good. G, V, these are letters that will also work. Okay. So these are the naming convention. These are the valid data type, valid variable names. Okay. So I hope that is fine with you. Everyone is quite clear how to name a variable. It is very simple. Now I come to operators. We understood what is data type in Java. We understood what are variables, that is how to store values in Java application. Now it's time for us to understand how to perform different operations on these variables, because in real world you also have different operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Now for that we have got different operators in Java, and they have been divided in different categories. Now there are 5 basic categories like assignment operator, arithmetic operator, relational operator, logical operator, and unary operator. We'll start with the very first one. We'll go through every category. First of all, we'll start with assignment operator. Now what is assignment operator? It is used to assign a value to a variable. Like you are writing x equals to 5. That means you are assigning a value 5 to the variable x using the assignment operator, which is the equals to sign over here. Okay. You have been doing this since your school days, right? Whenever you want to put some value to some variable, you'll be using the equals to sign or the assignment operator. So this is quite simple. Now I come to arithmetic operator. Using the arithmetic operator, you can do addition. For this, you have got this operator. Subtraction, you have got this one. Multiplication, division, modulo. Modulo operator will return the remainder between the two values. Like for example, the value of y is equals to 5 and the value of x is equals to 3. When you write y modulo x, can you guys tell me what will be the result? Vijay says 2. And that is absolutely correct. It will return the remainder. Siddharth says 1. Siddharth, how come? When you divide 5 by 3, the remainder is 2. So modulo operator will return the same. Okay. Kalyan says 2. Ravi says 2. And Siddharth says fine. Now we come to increment and decrement operator. And these are some new operators. Now what does they do? When you use increment operator, first of all, what does they do? What they do is, they will increment the value of a variable by 1. That is the increment operator. When you talk about the decrement operator, it will decrement the value of the variable by 1. For example, if x equals to 3 and you write x plus plus or plus plus x, it can be used both ways. Okay. So in that case, it will make the value of x as 4. When you use decrement operator with x, whose value is equals to 3, in that case, it will make the value of x equals to 2. Okay. Now, these two operators can be used in two different ways. Either you can place these operators before the name of the variable, or you can place these operators after the name of the variable. Okay. Now, if you place it before the name, it is said as pre-increment, and if you place it after the name of the variable, it is called as post-increment. Okay. Now, what is the difference between them? When you do pre-increment, in that case what happens? The value of the variable is incremented first and then it is used in the execution of the program. So increment the value of x plus 1 by 1 and then only it is used in the execution and then only it is used in the expression that you have written in your Java application. But when you talk about post increment, what it does, it will use the previous value first in the execution of the program and then after that it will increment the value of the variable by 1, okay, or decrement it simultaneously. So guys, let me know if you're clear with increment operator and decrement and post increment and pre-increment as well as in case of decrement. Are you clear with it? Siddharth says yes, Vijay says yes, Kalyan says yes, and don't worry, I'll show you the example when I come to if and else construct. Okay? Ravi, Vinay, everyone says yes. Anil also says yes. Now I come to relational operator. It is used to compare two values. Like when you want to check whether the value of x is greater than y or not, you'll be using this operator. When you want to check whether the value of x is less than y or not, in that case you'll use this one. Greater than equals to, less than equals to. Equivalence operator. It is used to check, it is used to compare the values of two different variables whether they are equal or not. Similarly, you've got not equals to, it is used to check whether the values are not equal or not. Okay? Now, we come to logical operators. It returns true or false value based on the state of the variables, like the conditional AND, conditional OR, bitwise AND, bitwise OR, the NOT operator, and exclusive OR operator. First of all, I'll explain the NOT operator. What it does, it simply complements the value. It gives the opposite value, like not 1 will give you a value 0, not false will give you a value true, not true will give you a result true false. Okay, so it will give you the opposite value whenever you use a not operator. It simply complements the value. Now I'll explain conditional AND, conditional OR, and exclusive OR. Now these three operators works on two different conditions. Okay, they'll be taking two inputs and finally they'll give an output. Now these inputs can either be true or false. That means they can be binary, true or false. So let me show you a diagram if it is present, or I'll prepare it for you. Okay, I'll have to prepare it, so I'll do that. Let me open some paint and do some drawing. Okay then guys, so we have paint opened up. I'll just expand the window. Okay, let us select a good color now. Okay, I'll go with green. I'll select a box. Before that I'll write okay. Okay, now I said that these operators works on two different inputs, so I'll write x first input and y as the second input, and first of all I'll explain the conditional AND. Okay, so I'm placing conditional AND between it. Now after that, I said that both the inputs either they can be true or false. So let's say for x is first of all true and y is also true. Okay, then x becomes true again and y becomes false this time. After that, x becomes false and y becomes true. And finally, both are false. Okay, so when we are working on two inputs and we know that the value of inputs can either be true or false, in that case we can have four different cases, as you can see right now: true true, true false, false true, and false false. When you place conditional AND between these inputs, in that case true and true will give you a result true at the end. When it is true false, it will give you a result false. When it is false true, it will give you a result false. And finally, when it is false and false, it will give you a result false at the end. So in case of conditional AND, you'll get a true result only when both the conditions are true, both the inputs are true, and all the rest of the cases you'll receive a result false. So everyone, are you clear with it? Please let me know on the chat window. Till that time, I'll prepare for conditional OR. Okay, most of the people have said yes. Vijay says if there is no value that is assigned to x and y, then what will be the result? As I said, Vijay, conditional and only works on two different conditions. If you're not giving the conditions, if you're not giving the values to the conditional and, it will give you an error. Okay, it won't work. Okay, now we come to conditional or. Okay, in case of conditional or, what happens? True, true is right. It will be true itself. In case of conditional or as well, when you come to true false, again it will be true. When you come to false true, again it will be true. And when you come to false false, in this case only it will be false. So in case of conditional or, what happens? If either of the two conditions are true, in that case it will give you a true result at the end. But if both the conditions are false, in that case only it will give you a result false. Okay. So I hope this is also quite clear to you. So I'll move on to the third operator, that is XOR operator. Okay, so I'll place the XOR operator. This is the symbol. Now, if true and true. Now remember, I'll explain it and you'll tell me the result, okay? I guess you are getting both then. Now, for that, I'll ask you. In case of XOR operator, what happens? If both the conditions, both the inputs are same, in that case it will give you a result false. But if both the inputs are alternate, okay, in that case it will give you a true result. Now can you tell me, true and true, what will be the result in case of exclusive OR? Vijay says false, and that is right, because both the conditions are same. When I come to true and false, what will be the result? Yes, Kalyan, you were also correct. Vijay says true, Kalyan says true, and that is right. It will give me a result true. Ravi says true. That's right. When I come to the third one, what happens this time? Vijay says true. Ravi says true. Vinay says true. What about the rest of you? Kalyan says true. And yes, that's right. The result will be true. And when I come to false and false, it gives me a result false. Absolutely right, Vijay. Because the condition is same. So these are actually called the truth tables. Okay, this is the truth table. This one is the truth table. The first one is the truth table for conditional AND. The second one is for conditional OR, and the third one is for exclusive OR. Okay, so I hope you are quite clear with them. You can just go through the video again, and these are called the truth tables. I'll write it down for you. Truth table. Okay. Okay then. So the fun time for drawing is over. I'll get back to the presentation. Now, what about bitwise AND and bitwise OR? In that case, what do you have to do? The diagram that I've made right now, in that case, replace true by 1 and false by 0. You'll get the truth table for bitwise AND bitwise OR. They works on singular bits, that is 1 and 0. Okay. So they'll be taking inputs, they'll be taking the double inputs, that is x and y, but the value of x can either be 1 or 0. Similarly, with y, it can either be 1 or 0. Okay, so it works on bits, and if you replace true by 1 and false by 0, you'll get the truth table for bitwise AND and bitwise OR. Okay, so guys, finally let me know if you're clear with logical operators. Please write down on the chat window, then I'll move on to the next one. I guess I'll need some water. Okay guys, everyone says yes and clear. Very good. Okay then, now we come to static versus non-static variables. I've already told you what are variables and how to name the variables. Now it's time for us to understand what are static variables. Static variables are shared across all the objects of a class. As I said, you create a class, and that class is used to create the objects. Whenever you want to use the content of the class, you'll be creating the object of the class. You can create as many objects as you want, as many objects as you need. Now, whenever you define a static variable within the class, So that static variable will be shared with each and every object that you create of that particular class. In other words, in a layman language, you can say that a static variable can be used all over the application. Any class that is present in the application can use a static variable. There is only one copy present. Okay? I'll give you a very simple example that will make you understand the concept of static variable. Now let's talk about a company like Edureka itself. Now in that company, there will be many employees working. Okay, each and every employee will have a profile in the company. So every employee has its own profile in the company. Every profile that is created will have one common thing, that will be the name of the company, for example, Edureka. So every employee of Edureka will have the name of the company on its profile. So what you can do, you can store that name of the company in a static variable, and that static variable can be shared in all the profiles that is present in the company. Whenever you are changing, if the name of the company changes in future, in that case you just have to make a change in one particular place, and that change will be reflected in all the profiles that are present, because there is only one copy of the static variable present. Okay. So everyone, are you clear with this particular example that I've given you right now? Okay, good. Now, there are non-static variables also present. These are not shared. There is a separate copy for each individual live object. Now, you can also define non-static variables in a class, and whenever you create the object of that class, every object will get a separate copy of the non-static variables. But when you talk about the static variables, every object will share the common copy. Now let us see on how to actually use a static variable. Now this is Eclipse, okay? This is the IDE, this is the software using which you can develop your Java applications. So I'll be sending you the installation guide along with the recording of the class so that you can set up Eclipse and practice your programs, okay? Now for now, I'll assume that each and every one of you has Eclipse, so you have to go to File, go to New, and then again you'll click Java Project. I'll give a name to the project like, okay, Vineet. So since I'm taking your class, let me name it on my name itself. Let me have that privilege. And after that, underscore Java. Since this is a Java class, I click on Finish. So I find this listed on the left side of the window. Now this is the Package Explorer. Whatever project that you develop in Eclipse will be listed on the left side of the window over here. Now I'll expand the project. In that I'll find a source folder. Now as I said, everything in Java is revolving around objects. Now how to create the objects? You'll create a class. So we need to add classes to it. So I'll right click, New, Class. I'll give a name to the class now, Class1. I'll add a main method as well. I'll check the box and I'll click on Finish. So I'll get the Class1, okay? Now, first of all, how to declare a class? For declaring a class, you need to write the keyword class, and then after that, you'll write the name of the class. It could be anything. So it is Class1 for now. After that, you open a curly brace and you close a corresponding curly brace. Now, since Java follows the concept of oops, so everything that you write has to be present within the class itself, right over here, the blue area, within the block of the class. Starting curly brace and the ending curly brace, within the blue area, you have to write every code which you want to add into this class. You cannot write that code outside the block, okay? You cannot place it over here or above that, okay? You have to place it within the blue area itself, within the scope of the class. So I hope you are quite clear how to declare a class. Now what is this main method? Main method is actually the entry point of your application. Okay. Now whenever you run your Java application, this main method is called, and whatever things that you want to execute has to be present in the main method. So when the main method is called, it will start executing the lines one by one. First 7, then 8, then 9, then 10, and so on. So whatever things that you want to perform in your application, want to execute in your application, has to be called, has to be placed in this main method itself. If it is not called from the main method, it won't be executed. Okay. Now we come to the static variables. How to declare a static variable? For that, you have got a static keyword. So you write the static keyword first of all, then you have to write the data type, that is what kind of value will be stored in this static variable. For now, I've used int. Then I'll give a name to the variable like count equals to. I'll give a value to it 10. I put a semicolon, so I've declared a static variable right over here, that is static int count equals to 10. The value is 10 into the variable. I told the compiler that it will store an integer value and the type of variable is static. There is only one copy. Every object will share the same copy. Now how can you use this static variable? Now for using this static variable in the same class, that is this is class 1. If you want to use the same variable which is defined in it in this class itself, in that case you have three different ways in which you can do it. The very first way is system.out.println. You can directly use the name of the variable. Now I'm trying to print the value of the variable. This is the output command in Java, that is system.out.println, and within that I place the variable, so it will print the value of the variable. So this is one way, because you can use this one because this variable is local to this class. Okay. So I'll simply run the code. For running the code, you can press this button and it will run the code, and this is the console window. On the console you get a result, that is 10 over here. The value of count was 10, so it prints 10. So this is the first way. Now I'll move on. I'll show you the second way. The second way is you can create the object of the class and then you can use the static variable. So this variable is present in class 1. This is the content of this class. So you can create the object of class 1 and then again you can use the count variable. How to create the object? I'll tell you how. You have to write the name of the class first of all. Write class 1. Give a name to your object. It could be anything like Vinny or your name or OB. Equals to new. New is the keyword that will allocate the memory for this particular object. Okay. And then after that, again you have to mention the class name with parenthesis and you put a semicolon at the end. So this line is used to declare an object. First of all, give the name of the class whose object you want to create. You give the name to the object, equals to new operator, and then again you write the name of the class with parenthesis. So I have created the object of class 1 that is named as OB. Now I'll write system.out.println to print the value. Now I'll access the variable using this object. So I'll write OB dot and then I'll find the option for count. So write OB.count. Now this is another way I can use the variable. When I run this code, I'll tell you the second way to run the code. Right click on your project, go to run as and click on Java application. So I find two 10s on the console window. First one printed from the first line, that is here. The second one is printed from here using the object. So guys, are you clear till here? Please write down on the chat window, then I'll tell you the third way, that is called the static way to access the static variable. Okay, Vijay, Ravi, Kalyan, Anil, Siddharth, everyone says yes, Raghav says yes. Okay. Now then again, I can use the third way, that is the actual static way. So I'll write system.out.println and then again I'll write the class name, class 1 dot, I'll find the option that is count. So this is the third way. I can directly use the name of the class in which the static variable is present. We can do so because there is only one copy of the variable present, so you can directly use the name of the class and access the variable. Now this time when I run this code, I'll tell you the third way to run the Java application, that is Control F11. That is the shortcut. Control F11, I get the result, 3 10s on the console. First one from this, second one from this, and the third one from this. So everyone, are you clear? I hope you are, and I think you won't be happy writing yeses all the time. So I will give you a small, like Kalyan wrote S. So I'll understand you are saying yes, so you can write a letter as well. Okay, just a hint. Now I told you that you can access static variables throughout the application from any class that is present in an application. Now it's time for me to show you how to use the static variable from a different class. So I'll add a class to it. So I'll write class 2, finish. Now I have got two classes, one this and one this one. Now, when you want to access the static variable in some other class, now it is not local to this class. If you talk about class 2, the static variable count is not local to it, so you cannot use the first way. But you can always use the later two ways, that is create an object of the class, use the variable, or the static way. But as I said, whatever you want to execute has to be called from the main method itself. So in here, how can I call? I want to do something. So in here, I'll have to create a function first of all. That function can be called from the main function. So I created a function. So what is a function first of all? Now a function or a method is something that will perform a certain operation. Okay. For a particular operation, you created a function. It is a set of instructions. Now the syntax is, first of all, you write the return type, that whether this function is returning a value or not. If it is returning a value, what kind of value is it returning? It is an integer type, so write integer over here. Is it a float type? You can write float over here. Is it a string type? You'll have to mention that it is a string type. So if you are returning a value, you have to mention the data type first of all. If it is not returning a value, in that case, we'll write void over here. That means empty. It is not returning any value. Okay. After that, we give a name to the function. It could be anything. So I've given it fun, using which I'll be using this function. I'll be calling this function from anywhere. Then again, I'll write the parenthesis. Within the parenthesis, you can place any number of inputs like integer x, integer y, string z, anything. Okay, you can place any number of inputs within the parenthesis that this method is taking. For now, I'm not placing any inputs to it. It is not taking any parameters. Okay. After that, you finally open the curly brace and you close the corresponding curly brace. So this will be the body of the method where you'll be placing all your operations that you want to perform in this function. Okay. Now you never asked. There was a line. I removed this line. How did I remove it? This is a shortcut Control D. Okay. I'll press Control D. It will remove the entire line. And guys, I'm telling the shortcut because it will make your life easier. Okay. Now I'll place the code. Now I'm creating an object of the class over here. Now using this object, I can use the static variable. So one this, or I can use the static way to print the value of the static variable. Now guys, tell me, if I run this code, what will be the result on the console window? Now here you have to remember all the things that I've told you. Will I get 3 tens or 5 tens? Tell me this, right? 3 for 3 tens and 5 for 5 tens. What do you think? Vijay says 5. Vijay, do you remember the point I said? Whatever things that are called from the main method will only be executed. Now tell me. Vijay says, okay, Kalyan says 3 tens. Vijay says if you run both the files. Ravi says 4. Not an option, Ravi. It is out of options. The options were 3 and 5. Vijay says 3. Raghav says 3. Anil says 3. And that's right. We'll get 3 tens on the console. As you can see, 3 tens. It is because you're never calling this function in the main method. Unless you call the function from the main method, it won't get executed. So I need to call the function. Now, if I want to call the function in class 1 in the main method, how can I do so? Can any one of you tell me? I'm trying to use the content of class 2. If I want to use the content of class 2, what has to be done? Come on guys, let me know. Vijay says class 2 C2 equals to new class 2 with parentheses. Exactly correct. I need to create the object of class 2 and then I can use the function. So I'll write class 2 over here. OB underscore or any other name equals to new operator, and then I'll press control space. Okay, it is for getting the options. I get class 2 with parentheses. I'll use that and put semicolon. Okay, I've created the object successfully. Now I write OB control space OB underscore dot. I get the option fun and I'll use that, I'll put semicolon. Now I'm calling the function that has been defined in class 2. Now this time when I run this code, I'll receive 5 tens on the console window, as you can see. First one is getting printed from here, and I'll tell you how it is done. Main method is called when you run the code. First 10 gets printed from here. Then it executes the second line, creates the object of class 1, and using the object, the second 10 is printed. The third 10 is printed using the static way. It comes to this line, it creates the object of class 2. Using the object, it calls the function. Now it comes over here. In the function, the object of class 1 is created first of all. Then using the object, value of count is printed. And then again, you're using the static way to print the values. So you're receiving 5 tens on the console window. So if you're clear with this, okay, I'll make few changes and you have to answer them. So the changes would be, first this, removing this, class 1, class 2, moving it upwards. Now I want to move these lines upwards, okay. So what I'll do, I'll select them, I'll press Alt, I'll use the direction keys to move them upwards. I want to remove this line, Control D. I'll remove this also. Here what I'll do, I'll add a line, I'll write ob.count equals to 100. Now guys, tell me what will be the result this time? Come on, everyone, give your votes, give your answers on the chat window. What do you think will be the result this time? Come on. Arvind says 110. Okay, according to Arvind, it will print 110. Ravi says 100. What about the rest of you? Whatever is present in the main method gets executed line by line. So go line by line. Anil says 10 and 100. Kalyan says 100 two times. Vijay says 110. What about the rest of you? Okay. Okay guys. Those of you who has said that the value that will be printed on the console will be 10 and 100, they are absolutely right. Okay. I'll run this code and you get the result 10 and 100 on the console window. I'll tell you how. You come to the main method. First line, you create the object of class 2. You call the function, you come over here. Class 1 ob equals to new class 1. You created an object. Using that, you printed the value. So it is printing 10 over here. Okay. Because you have assigned the default value with count will be 10. So it is printing 10. And after that, you are changing the value of the static variable to 100. Now, as I said, wherever you make a change throughout the application, it will be reflected everywhere. So after that, when you come over here, class 1 ob new class 1, it creates the object of class 1 again. And here it is again accessing the same variable count, static variable. So it will print 100 over here. Now, this OB is different, this object is different, this object is different. The name is same, but they are present in two different worlds. They are present in two different classes, so they are different. Now they are accessing the static variable. Now as it was told that every object of the class will share the same static variable. So if you make a change to the static variable over here, 200, you're making it 100, it will be reflected, the count will be 100 now, not 10. Okay. So everyone, are you clear with it? Come on, write down on the chat window. You can send me smileys as well. Okay, if you're happy, if you're clear with it. Please write down on the chat window, everyone. Can you all hear me? Guys, am I audible to you? Please write down on the chat window if you're clear with it. Or I'll need to check the audio connection then. Guys, am I audible to you? Please write down on the chat window. Waiting for your reply. Okay, you says you are audible now. Okay, okay. Okay, I received few smileys. Actually, I have my laptop also working over here, but that laptop is actually not updating the questions. I don't know why. Maybe it is connected to Wi-Fi, that is why. I'll just check it. Okay, I'll just use the same system on which I am. Okay then, if you say you are clear, then there's another challenge with you in front of you. I'll just remove the static keyword. What happens now? What is the result this time? Can you tell me? Guys, if you're clear, you can absolutely give me the result this time. And the correct one. Every one of you. Waiting for your reply. I'll count till 5 and I need all the replies on the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 4.75 and finally 5. Kalyan says 10 and 10. Siddharth says 10 and 10. Vijay says 0. Anil says 10 and 10. Vijay says 10. Absolutely right. Those of you who have said 10 and 10 are receiving the result also as 10 and 10. You receive 10 out of 10 marks because you are absolutely right. What happens this time? What is happening? Every object will get a separate copy. First of all, you create the object of class 2. It calls the function. You come here. You create the object of class 1 OB. OB.count. It gets one copy and it is printing 10. The first 10. After that, you are changing the value of count which is associated with this object to 100. The control comes back over here. You create the object of class 1 again and you're writing ob.count. Now this count is different from this one because it is not a static variable. Every object will get a separate copy of a not static variable. So instead of printing 100, it does not change. It will get the default value, that is 10. That is why we get a result 10 out of 10 or 1010 on the console window. Everyone, are you finally clear with the concept of static and a not static variable? Give me a quick confirmation finally and I'll move back to the presentation again. Waiting for your reply again, guys. Please write down on the chat window if I'm audible to you. If you are clear with the concept, write down on the chat. Am I audible to you? If yes, write down on the chat window if you're clear with me. Okay, then again, I don't know what is happening. I'm receiving the results late. Okay, guys, thank you all for replying again. And I'll get back to the presentation once again. Moving on to the next slide. I come to statements and blocks. A simple statement is a command terminated by a semicolon, like you write name equals to Fred, you put a semicolon. So this is one statement. What is a block? A block is a compound statement enclosed in curly braces. Within the curly brace, you can have as many number of statements as you want. Like name equals to Fred, put a semicolon, one statement. Second statement. So within the block, you can have multiple statements. Finally, blocks may contain other blocks as well, so you can have nested blocks in Java. If you want to check it out on your Eclipse, on your example, you can easily do that. This is one statement. This is the second one, the third one, the fourth one. Okay, let's search for a block. This is one block. So within that block, you can find multiple statements. The second line is also right. I come to the third one. I find another block which contains a block within it as well as multiple statements. So all the things that were written in this slide are absolutely correct. Okay. These are just simple terms that are used in Java. You'll find in books. That is why I'm telling you right now. Now, I come to flow of control. Java executes one statement after the other in the order they are written. That is, the first statement that is present in the main method will get executed first, then the second one, then third one, and so on. So you have already seen the example. Siddharth says not audible. What about the rest of you? Am I audible to you? Guys, rest of you. Vijay says yes. Siddharth says audible now. Okay. Now on Java executes one statement after the other. You've already understood this while I was explaining the examples. Okay, it goes line by line, one after the other. Now there are many Java statements that controls the flow of execution, okay, using which you can control the flow, like the if-else construct, switch case, if construct. So these are the they alternate the flow of execution. Now if you want to execute a particular statement or a group of statement again and again, in that case what you can do, you can use loops in Java like the for loop, the while loop, the do while loop, okay. So we'll go through them, each one of them, and these are called the basic Java constructs like if else, switch case, for loop, while loop, and do while loop. And the very first one is the if else construct. The syntax for using if else is you write the if keyword and within the parenthesis you place a condition. On the basis of the condition, if it is true, in that case it will only execute the if block, that is it will execute this one and it will leave the else block. When the condition turns out to be false, in that case it will skip, it will leave the if block and it will only execute the else block, okay. So without wasting any time, let's go to Eclipse and we'll see an example of if block. So I'll write if, control space, I get the option if else, I'll place a condition, I'll simply use the variable that I've defined, make it static, I'll write count less than 10, okay. If it is true, I wanted to print system.out.println, it will print true. I wanted to print true, I'll just copy this statement, control C, V, and if it is false, if the condition is false, I wanted to print false on the console. So come on, quickly tell me guys, what will be the result on the console window if I run this code? Kalyan says false. What about the rest of you? Come on guys, quickly, actively participate. Vinay says false. Vijay says false, Ravi says false, Arvind says false, and that is absolutely right. I'll get the result false on the console window because the condition is false. Value of count is equals to 10 and 10 cannot be less than 10. If I change the operator to equivalence operator, this time I get the result as true. Yes, Vijay, you are absolutely correct. Okay, Vinay, you are also right. Now I'm simultaneously using different operators. If I make it not equals to this case, I'll get a false result because the condition is not equals to 10 should give me a false result and it is giving me a true one. Let me save the file, saving the file, let's run it. Again it is giving me a true result. The value of count is equals to 10 and I'm checking count not equals to 10, true or false. I save the file, I run this code, I get the false result. Okay, there was some, I don't know why it was giving true, but now it is fine. So I hope you are clear with the if else construct now. Now I'll show you the conditional operators. So conditional and, first of all, count equals to 10. Guys, what happens this time? Will I receive true or false? This AND is taking two inputs. First one is false, the second one is true. Vinay says true. Vijay says false. Okay, most of the people says false and Kalyan says true and the result is false itself because conditional AND only gives a true result when the condition is true. Okay, when both the conditions are true, both the inputs are true. So now it is true and this one is also true. This time it will give the result that is true on the console. Okay, in all the other cases it will give a result false. When I change it back to control Z and I'll change the operator to conditional OR, what happens this time? Will it give me a result true or false? Vijay says true. What about the rest of you? Vinay says true, Ravi says true, and that is absolutely correct. Siddharth says true. Because Conditional OR gives you a true result if either of the two conditions are true. It gives you a false result only when both the conditions are false. Now I'll just change it to XOR operator. What happens this time? Come on, quickly tell me. Will it be true or false? Vijay says true. Arvind says true. Ravi says true. Because the conditions are alternate right now, XOR operator gives a true result when the inputs are alternate. So first one is true, first one is false, the second one is true, so I'll get a result true on the console window. But if I make both the conditions are true, like greater than equals to, now both the conditions are true, both the results are true, inputs are true, it will give me a result false on the console window. That's right. So I hope you're quite clear with all the three conditional operators. Now I'll give you an example regarding the increment and decrement operator. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll write plus plus count equals to 11. The value of the original value is 10. And as well as what I'll do, I'll print true as well as the value of count. I'll copy the same thing over here till here, Control C, and I'll paste it. Now guys, what do you think will be the result this time? Give me the result true with the value or false with the value. Kalyan says true 11, Vijay says true 11, Siddharth says true 11, Vinay says true 11. That is absolutely right. I'll get the result true 11. Yes, Arvind, you are also true. Ravi says true 11. I get true 11 because it will first increment the value and then it will use in the execution. So the value of count first becomes 11 and then it checks 11 equivalent to 11. So it is true. It will execute this line. Okay. Now, I'll change it to post increment. Count plus plus. What happens this time? Vijay says false 11. Do you think Vijay is right? Siddharth also says false 11. Vinay says false. Ravi says false 10. Vinay says false 11. Kalyan says false 10. And I'll go with the people, with the group who said false 11. Anil, it won't be true 11. I'll go with the people who said false 11 and that is absolutely right. I'll get the result false 11. I'll tell you how. First, in case of post increment, first the original value is used in the execution. So original value of count is 10. 10 is not equals to 10. So it is decided that it will be executing the else block. But before executing, the value of count will be incremented by 1. It will become 11. So here when you print this, it will print false and now the value of count is 11. So you get the result false 11. Everyone, those who have said the wrong answer, are you clear with it? Please write down on the chat window. Anil says yes. Ravi says yes. Vijay says yes. Okay then, I receive all the essays. That means you're quite clear with increment everything I promised to show you. So I'll just move on. I'll come to switch case. Now how to use that? The syntax is you write the switch keyword first of all and within the parenthesis you place an expression. This expression will have a certain value. If the value matches the condition 1, you'll make certain cases based on different values. So if the value of the expression value matches the condition 1, so in that case it will execute, it will directly jump to case this and it will execute block 1 and using the break statement it will get out of the switch case. If the expression matches condition 2, it will directly jump to this. It will only execute block 2 and using the break statement, it will get out of the switch case. But if the expression does not match any of the condition, in that case, what will happen? It will only execute the default one finally. So let's quickly see how to use switch case. I'll comment if else. Control 7 is the shortcut for commenting multiple lines. Select them and press Control 7. If you want to uncomment them, do the same thing. Switch case. Now I'll define a variable integer key equals to 1. Put a semicolon at the end. And I'll make few cases for value 1. Let's make two cases. Case 1, if it is case 1 system.out.println, it should print case 1 itself. Okay, so I'll write case 1. I'll copy the entire case, Control C, V. Now I want them in a single line, so I'll use Control Shift F to format the code. Okay, so 2, it will print case 2. So I have two different cases. I'll make print a line in default as well, and I'll change the text to default, and I'll save the file now. Guys, tell me what will be the result when I run this code. Come on, quickly tell me. Case 1, case 1, case 1 from Vijay, Vinay and Ravi. Kalyan also says case 1. That is absolutely correct. Arvind says case 1. Siddha says case 1. Because the value of the expression is 1, and you are passing 1 over here, so it will directly jump to case 1, execute this one, and using the break statement, it will get out of the switch case. If I change the value to 2, this time I'll get the result case 2. Because it is directly jumping over here. If I make it 20, I don't have a case for a value 20, so in that case it will only print the default. It will directly jump to default, right? Now, I'll just simply change the value to 1. Again, I'll remove the break statement. What happens this time, guys? What will be the result this time? Please write down on the chart window. Okay. Case 1, 2 and default, Vijay says. Arvind says, okay. Ravi says case 1 and default. Sudha says 1, 2 and default. Kalyan says case 1, 2 and default. Arvind says case 1 and default. And the answer is case 1, 2 and default. It will print every cases that are lying after case 1. Since the value is 1, it will directly jump to case 1 and it will print everything after that because you have removed the break statements. Okay. If I make it 2, it will directly jump to case 2 and it will print everything after that as well. So case 2 and default. Right, so this is the use case of break statement. It is important to get the desired result. If you remove your break statement, it will not function as you want. Okay, so guys, let me know if you're clear with switch case, each one of you. Till that time, I'll get back to the presentation. Vijay sends me a smiley. Thank you. Ravi says yes. Arvind says yes. Kalyan says yes. Raghav says yes. Okay then, moving on, I come to loops now. Vinay sends a smiley. First of all, we come to for loop. The syntax is you write the for keyword, within the parentheses you place 3 things separated by semicolons. First thing is you initialize the counter, a variable counter, okay, from which the loop will start. Then again you put a condition on the basis of which the loop will run, and finally you need to increment the counter, so you are incrementing the counter one by one with a value 1. Now till the time condition is true, it will execute the statements again and again. Whatever you want to get executed, you have to place them within the curly brace. So let's see the flow of for loop. First of all, your variable, your counter get initialized. After that, it checks the condition. If the condition turns out to be true, it will go inside and execute the statements. After executing all the statements, it will again come back and increment the counter by 1. After incrementing, it will again check the condition. If it is true, it will again go inside and execute the statements. This cycle will keep on revolving till the condition becomes false. In this particular case, as soon as I becomes 5 over here, it will check the condition 5 is not less than 5, it will be false, and it will get out of the for loop there and then. So let me show you an example of for loop now. Commenting this line once again. So for integer I equals to 0, initializing the counter I less than 5, put a semicolon I plus plus. Opening the scopes, in that I'll write system.out.println. I'll simply print the values of I. So guys, tell me, if you have understood the flow of for loop, you can easily tell me what will be the result, what will be the value of I that will be printed on the console window. Vijay was quick and he says 0 till 4. Kalyan says 1 till 4. Ravi says 1 till 5. Vinay says 1 till 4. Vinay says 0 till 4. Siddharth says 1 till 4. Now he says 0 till 4. Anil says 1 till 4. And I'm with the group which is saying 0 till 4. Okay, I'll just show you the result first of all. You can see I get the result 0 till 4 because the loop will be running from 0 till 4. The value of I counter is 0, checks the condition. True, goes inside and prints 0. Increments the value of I to 1. After that, checks the condition. 1 is less than 5. It comes here, prints 1. Then it becomes 2 over here. After that, it again checks the condition. 2 is less than 5, prints 2. It becomes 3. 3 is less than 5, prints 3. It becomes 4. 4 is less than 5, it prints 4. Finally, it becomes 5. 5 is not less than 5, condition becomes false and it will get out of the for loop now. Okay? So guys, quickly tell me if you are clear. Those of you who has given the wrong answer, especially you, write down on the chat window if you are clear how we are getting a result 0 till 4. Arvind says yes, Ravi says yes, Vijay says smiley, Kalyan says yes. Anil says clear. Okay, thanks for replying then. Okay, so it's time for me to get back to the presentation and I'll tell you what is a while loop and how to use it. First of all, you initialize a counter outside the while keyword, outside the while block. Using the while keyword with the parenthesis, you place a condition over here. You open your blocks of the while loop and within that you'll place the statements that you want to execute again and again. And you also place the increment of the counter. Now how the while loop works. First of all, your variable gets initialized. After that, it checks the condition. If the condition turns out to be true, it goes inside and executes the statements. After that, it increments the counter and then again it checks the condition. If it is true again, it will again come inside and execute the statements. This cycle will keep on revolving till the condition becomes false. So let's see how to use a while loop now. So I'll come in the for loop, control 7. I'll move a bit down, while, control space, while loop with condition. Let's declare a variable, a counter for that. So I'll write con equals to 0, put a semicolon, con, I'll place a condition less than 5. I'll just copy the statement, control C, control V. And I have to write con. Now guys, tell me what will be the result this time? This is a trick question. Everyone see it and then tell me. Think and then tell me. Kalyan says 0 till 4. Vijay says infinite loop, and Vijay, you got that absolutely right. When I run this code, control F11, I get infinite number of zeros, okay? As you can see the scroll bar, it is smashing his head over here. Okay, because it is getting printed again and again. What is happening? I'll just stop it. Now it stopped. What is happening? You are not incrementing the counter. So value of con is always 0 and the condition will always remain 0. So it will keep on printing con again and again. That is 0. So what I need to place is con plus plus and a semicolon. This time I'll get a result same, that is 0 till 4. This time, Kalyan, you are correct. When I say 0 till 4, absolutely right. So I hope you are quite clear with a while loop as well. Okay. So I'll get back and I'll show you the do while loop. Now in this, you place your counter first of all, initialize the counter, write the do keyword, open the curly brace, and within that place your statement and your increment. At the end, write the while keyword and within the parenthesis you place your condition. Let's see the flow of do while loop. First of all, the counter is initialized. Then again it goes inside and executes the statements. After that, it increments the counter and checks the condition after that. If the condition again turns out to be true, it will go inside and execute these statements once again. This cycle will go on till the condition becomes false. So let's see how to use a do while loop now. Control 7. Now, let me just move it a bit down. So write do control space do while statement. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this while, control C, I'll place it over here. I'll be using the same variable that I defined over here, okay? Copy this, let's be lazy, and I'll paste it. Control 7. Now guys, tell me, what happens in do while? What will be the result on the console window? Rachit, you can also participate in this. You can write down on the chat window, give answers as well. Siddharth says 0 till 5, Kalyan says 0 till 5, Vinay says 0 till 4, Ravi says 0 till 4. What about the rest of you? What do you think will be the result? Vijay says 0 till 4, Anil says 0 till 4. What about you, Rachit? What do you think will be the result? Now, the people who have said 0 till 4, okay, I'll tell. People who have said 0 till 5 are wrong. Okay. The answer is 0 till 4. Control F11 and I get the result 0 till 4. If you want to check it out, let's say till here. Okay. Here con becomes 3. It checks the condition 3 less than 5 true. Again comes back, prints 3. Now it becomes 4 over here. 4 is less than 5. Again comes here and prints 4. After 4, it becomes 5 over here. 5 less than 5, not true. So it won't go inside the do while again. It will get out of the loop. So we won't be printing 5. It won't print 5. Okay. So this was do while loop. So I'll make few changes in the loops and we'll understand a very basic concept. So control 7, I'll make the value of I 10 in for loop. What happens this time? Come on guys, what will be the result? Everyone, please let me know what do you think will be the result this time. It is very simple. I hope you can do it. I think you can do it. Vijay says 10, 11, 12, infinite. Siddharth says 10. What about the rest of you? Vijay says sorry. Vijay says blank. Vinay says 10. Ravi says none. Kalyan says it will not execute. It will execute, okay? But it won't give any result. I'll press Control F11 many times. It won't, console window won't come because it is not printing anything. Because here, the value of I is 10, the condition is false. It will never go inside the for loop and print anything, okay? So it does not print anything on the console, no result. I come to while loop, control 7, I'll make the same change, con equals to 10. What happens this time? Come on guys, let me know. Rachit says blank and absolutely right. Control F11, no output. According to Vinay, and that is right. No result, Siddharth says. Kalyan says blank, absolutely correct. So control 7 again. I come to while loop. I'll use the same variable. Now what happens in do while loop? What will be the result this time? Vijay says 10. Rachit says 10. What about the rest? Vinay says 10. Kalyan says 10. Siddharth says 10. Absolutely right. I'll get the result 10. Arvind says 10. Control F11. I get the result 10 because in a do while loop, the condition is checked at the end. Okay. So the property of a do while loop is that it will execute at least one even though the condition is false. Okay. So it does not matter whether the condition is true or false or not. If it is false, it will at least execute once. Okay. Remember this from now. So this is what I wanted to show you. I'll get back to the presentation now. And I come to arrays in Java. Okay, you'll just see the slide. Now an array is a list of similar things. Like in a variable you can store a particular value, but what if you want to store multiple values? In that case you can use arrays. Now but arrays can only store many values of a similar type, like many numbers, many strings, many characters. Okay, it cannot be heterogeneous. Now array has got fixed name, it has got a fixed type, that means what kind of values will be stored in that array, and it has got a fixed length, that means how many elements, how many values will you be storing in that particular array, so that will be the length. So you have to declare, you have to put all those values while declaring an array. These must be declared when the array is created. Array size cannot be changed during the execution of the code, that means you cannot increase the size of the array during runtime. Okay. Now let's see an example of array. Now how to declare an array? Write the data type first of all. That means what kind of values you will be storing in the array. After that, give the name of the array. It could be anything. I write ARR. Put opening and closing square brackets, that is the symbol of the array, equals to new, to allocate the memory for the array. After that, again mention the type of the array with the square brackets and put a semicolon. Within the square brackets, give the size of the array, that means how many elements will this array store. So you have given the size of the array 5, so 5 elements can be stored. The value will be of type integer, and the name of the array is ARR. Now when you write 5, how can you put the values into the array? You can put the values using the index. Okay, it is stored using the index, like you put the value in here, so it will get the first value. In Java, index starts from 0. So when you give the size of the array as 5, the index will be ranging from 0 till 4. Okay, so I'll simply copy this line, Control C, 2, 3, 4, 5, Control Shift F. So ARR1, I'll change the values of the index 3 and 4. So these are the 5 values. These are the memory locations you can access: 2, 3, 4, and finally 5, right? So I have placed 5 values into my array like this using the index. But what happens when the size of the array is 500? Will you be writing 500 statements to put the values into it? Tell me guys, do you think it is optimized? Vijay says no. The answer is correct. Ravi says no. In that case, you'll be smart, okay? You are already smart. So you'll put your mind, I'll just remove this, okay? In case of using, what you'll do, instead of writing one statement after the other, you'll write a loop. It could be any loop, so I'll write for, I'll define a for loop now. Integer I equals to 0. I'll be using the value of I as the index of the array. Now index should range till 5, it should be till 4. So it is, I'm putting a condition I less than 5, I plus plus. Okay. And in this, what I'll write, ARR square brackets, within that I'll place I as index equals to. Now I wanted to place the values 1 till 5, 1 greater than the index, so what I'll write, I plus 1, okay, and I put a semicolon, so I'll get the same result. If you want to print the array simultaneously, you can do that, so I'll write ARR, again I'll use I as index. So guys, tell me what will be the result this time? All of you. Vijay says 0 till 4, Vinay says 1 till 5, Kalyan says 1 till 5, Arvind says 0 till 4. Guys, at least have a look on the code. Vijay says 1 till 5, Ravi says 1 till 5, and those of you who have said 1 till 5 are absolutely right. Because value of I is 0 till 4, you are accessing the index with the same, but the value that you are putting into the index are 1 greater than that. So when index is 0, it will put a value 1. When index is 1, it will put a value 2. So when index is 4, it will put a value 5. So the result will be 1 till 5 on the console window. So everyone, are you clear with it? All of you, quickly write down on the chat window. Until that time, I'll tell you one more thing. If you want to put the size, if you're not aware of the size of the array, that is, right now we knew it is 5. But in a very big application, you only know the name of the array, you don't know the size. In that case, what you can do, you can write the name of the array, write dot, and then again there's a property of the array, that is length. So when you write array.length, it will get this length of the array, that is 5. When I run this code, I'll get the same result 1 till 5. Okay. So I hope everyone is quite clear. I'll tell you one more thing, that is the syntax. You are placing the square brackets after the name of the array, so you can also place before the name of the array, okay? It is also an acceptable syntax in Java. But you cannot place the size of the array in this particular box, okay? It will give you an error. You cannot place in this square brackets. Another way to initialize, declare and initialize simultaneously is that open the curly brace and close it, and within that place your values like this. So this way you are declaring and initializing the arrays simultaneously. Okay. So everyone, give me a final confirmation if you are clear how to use an array. Then I'll move back. Okay, Raghav says yes, Vijay says yes, Vinay says yes, Kalyan sends me a smiley, Arvind says yes, Vinay sends me a smiley, Anil says yes, Siddharth says yes. Very good then. So I'm back on the presentation. Small graphic diagram for you to explain the same example. As soon as this line gets executed, this is the memory allocated to it. You can use the memory allocation, you can get the values or put the values in them using the index like this, array 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, so on, okay? So that says not audible, guys. Can you hear me, rest of you? Anil says yes, Vijay says yes, Siddharth says it's fine now. What are you doing, Siddharth? Okay then. Okay. Now after that I write a for loop to put the values into the array. So in the first iteration it will put a value 1 at index 0, then 2 at index 1, 3 at index 2, 4 at index 3 and finally 5 at index 4, and your array is filled up now. Okay. Now I come to Java methods and classes. So this is an example class right in front of you. First thing is a package. I'll tell you what is a package. Class declaration. You have already seen how to declare a class. You use a class keyword and then you put the name of the class and you open the curly braces. Within that you can have your variables that we used it in our sample example, as well as you can have methods. So you have already seen a sample method, right? Now what is a package? A package is a path. Okay, it is a physical path where your classes, where your Java files are stored that you're creating. Okay. So when you write com.edureka.entity, com is a folder, edureka is also folder, and entity is also folder. Okay. Now let me show you. Just remember com.edureka entity and the name of the class. So we'll just use paint once again. So new, save. I'll just save this diagram, guys, for me. I have to create it each time I take a class. Saving it. Now. Okay, the package is this right in front of you. I'll select a good color again. I think this time I'll go with this one. Size is quite big. 22 is fine for me right now. So com.edureka.entity. Okay. So let's give it a different color. Because this is a different folder, I'll give this one also a different color. This is a different folder. Okay. Now, this is the class, and the name of the class is car. Remember it. So I'll just expand it. I said that these three are three different folders. So I'll make three different folders now. Now the first folder, or Control Z, I'll take the same color, blue. Com. This is com. Then again, I'll take green for Edureka. This is Edureka. And then finally I'll take this one, whatever it is, pink, and then this is for entity. Okay. Now how they are interrelated, and you have a class car also. I'll mention it, class car. Okay. Now how it is happening? This is Edureka. Sorry, this is entity. This is Edureka. And this is finally your blue color, which is com folder. Now what is happening? They are interrelated in this way, that is, this class is present within the entity folder. this entity folder is present within the Edureka folder, and this Edureka folder is present within the comp folder. So it is actually, this package is actually stating a path, and it is actually a collection of classes. You can have many classes in one particular package. Okay, so you just have to mention the package name, and that class will be stored in that particular package. So this is simply a path, comp, Edureka, and then entity, and then within that you'll find your class card. So everyone, are you clear with it? Please write down on the chat window. If you're clear with the concept of a package, we'll be taking package in later class also. That is the next class that you'll have. Okay, I receive all the essays and a smiley from Kalyan. Very good then. I'll move on. I come to methods in Java. A method is a named sequence of code that can be invoked by other Java code. You've already seen that. That is, in class 2 I declared a method, and that method was invoked from class 1 using some Java code. Okay? And it is a sequence of code. It is a set of instructions. A method takes some parameters, performs some computation, and then optionally returns a value. So let's see the structure of a method. Devajit Deka sends me a smiley. Hello Devajit. I guess you joined in late. Devajit, I sent you the invitation of the class half an hour before that. I'm sorry I got late. Actually, I was not aware that you wanted to join the class, and I'm not the responsible one for it, but I saw your email, so I just sent it to you. Okay, so he says, sorry, I was busy in office. No issues then. Actually, I was explaining myself for sending you a late invitation. Okay, and I'm very sorry for that. He says it's okay. Okay then. Now, a method has got 5 components. First is the modifier, which is an optional one. That is, modifiers, access modifiers are like public, protected, private. Okay, these are the access modifiers. You can use them in your program to provide different access to your different elements. So you can place an access modifier before the name of the method. If you do not place an access modifier, in that case, what it takes the default one. That means that particular method can be accessed by any class that is present in the same package. No other class which is present in a different package can access that particular method which has a default access modifier. Okay. Now we come to the second one, that is the return type. That is, what kind of value will your method return? Will it be an integer? Will it be a string? Will it be any other value? In that case, you'll have to mention the data type of the value over here in the return type. Okay. If your method is not returning any value, you can mention void over there. That means empty. It won't return anything. Now, second, after that, you'll write the name of the method using which you'll be using this method. You'll be calling this method, like for example, you wanted to create a method for adding numbers. So what you can do, you can name the method as add, and add will be used to actually call your method and use your method. Okay. Now in the parentheses, you can place any number of parameters. For example, in the add method, at least you require 2 inputs of numbers. Okay, so you can write integer x comma integer y. So those inputs can be used in the body of the method, where you will be putting the actual logic, actual operation you'll be performing in this body of the method. Okay, so you'll be writing your everything over here. So let's see how to use a method now. You've already seen example of a default method which has a void type. Okay, this was the method, and I was calling this method from the top. Over here I was calling it. It was not returning anything. It was not taking any parameters. So let's define another method. You can also have a method in the same class where you have your main method. You can have methods over there as well. That is very simple. I'll just show you in the second class. So I'll write integer. Then again I'll give a name to the method add, and I'll open the curly parenthesis, and within that I'll place the inputs like integer x comma integer y. So this method is taking 2 inputs. I'll open the curly brace, and it is giving me a red line. It is doing so because I told that I'll return a value of integer type, but where is the return keyword? Whenever you want to return a value, you have to use a return keyword, and after that you place that value x plus y. Here I only wanted to return the sum of these variables. I don't want to use them in any computation within this method, so I can directly write it like this. But if you want to use these variables or any result within the computation of this method, then you can store it in a variable like this, integer sum equals to x plus y, put a semicolon, and you can pass sum in the return type as the return. Okay, this is the same, but why to write an extra line? I won't be writing it because I don't want to use it in the computation of this method. Okay, I'll simply return the sum. Now our method is ready. Now how to use it in the main method? I need to create the object of the class 2. So I'll just uncomment this line, control 7, and after that, using the object of class 2, ob underscore dot, I can use the add method. It will take 2 inputs, so I can pass the inputs like this, 100 or 200. I put a semicolon at the end. Now this method is actually returning a value, so I need to store this value if I want to use it in somewhere, in some computation. So integer sum equals to this. So whatever value that is returned from this add method will be saved in this variable, and I can use it anywhere. So system.out.println, and within that I'll pass sum, so it will print the value sum. Okay, but why to write? If you don't want to use it, you can just simply place this code, the calling of the method within this command, and whatever value that you'll return will get printed finally over here. Okay, so guys, tell me if you have understood this, what will be the result on the console window? Vijay says 300, Kalyan says 300, Devajit says 300, Sudhat, Ravi, everyone says 300. Even if you have not understood it, I'm sure you can add 2 numbers, right? Vinay says method create separately. I've created it separately, Vinay. So control F11, you get the same result that you said, that is 300. The other one is coming from the array. This one. I'll just comment it. So we get 300. Now Vinay, can you elaborate your question right here? Waiting for your reply, Vinay. Method saved separately. I didn't get your point again. Vinay, do you have a mic with you? If you have, please write yes, then I'll just unmute you and you can speak up. Do you have a mic with you? Vinay, please let me know. I guess he's arranging a mic, everyone, so I think we can wait for another 2 minutes or 1 minute for him, right? Vijay says yes. Okay, rest of you, any one of you, if you, okay, Vinay, I'll just unmute you, just a minute. I haven't unmuted you yet. Hello, Vinay, you can speak up.
Hello. Yeah, are you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Hello.
you clearly. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, just I want to just know that when you create a method, so that's a save like in database we have created a method, function that different things that is saved in our database. So that method is also saved in our. But
In our,
are you getting my point?
no. Now, when you create a method, okay, now it is present in a class. Don't get it confused with database, okay? I guess you are from the database background. But just understand, this is a method. I want some operations to be performed using this. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Guys, can you hear me, rest of you? Oh my God, Vijay says yes. Okay. Vinay, can you hear me now? Hello? I guess we have lost him. So I'll just explain it. That is simple, a method that is present in a class. You want to put some operations into it, and using that method, you can use that operation any way you want. Okay? So this is called modularizing your code. You just use a method and you can do it. You can use that operation. Instead of performing x plus y everywhere, if you want to add many places, you can simply call this method and it will give you the sum. This way, you are just writing one time the code, the set of instructions, and it is called again and again. Reusability of code. Okay? Everyone, are you clear with this? Okay, I receive all the yeses then. Very happy. Good. So moving on. Okay, guys. This was the last topic of today's class. Now Vijay says, what if we have static values of x and y in class 2? Even though you'll get the sum of static values. What is so tough in that, Vijay? Would you like to speak up? I love people speaking up in the class. I don't want that I'm the only one who is just speaking and shouting top of the voice. Vijay? There's no issues. If it is a static variable, you can just pass it and it will give you the sum as the result. You're just using the values. You're not changing the values of the static variables. Even though you're changing it, it is possible. Are you clear? Okay. Very good then. So guys, this was the final topic of today's class, that was methods. So another question, Kalyan says, for method also static principle is applied? Absolutely yes, you also have the static principle applied for your method. Like in your main method, you saw that it was static void main, right? So you can apply the static thing also. So that will be a static method. Okay. Okay, he says yes. So I was asking guys, were you all clear with all the topics that were taken in today's class? And if the answer is yes, I want smileys on the chat window from each and every one of you. Okay, Rachit says, will concepts like multi-threading, design patterns will be covered in later sessions? No, Rachit. I'm just here, we'll be conducting these Java classes on the core Java concepts, okay? We won't be covering threads. We just want to take you to a level from where you can take on the MapReduce. You'll be at the position from where you can understand the MapReduce programming. You'll be understanding the concept, what is written over there in MapReduce, okay? I won't be taking the multi-threading things. But if you have any queries related to that, you can absolutely send an email on hadoop@edureka.in and we'll try to help you out with it. Okay? I hope that is fine with you. He says thanks. So Vijay, Devjit and Kalyan Anil sends me a smiley. And what about the rest of you guys? I only accept smileys at the end of the class. Nothing else. So I need smileys at the... And the reason, I'll tell you the reason for everything, as I do with the Java concepts. The reason is that I want to understand, do you have a smiling face after the class or is it a sad face? Because I cannot see you, right? So guys, please send me smileys, everyone. And I'll send you a return smiley then. If you have happy faces, okay. Everyone says that we are happy and sends me a smiley. So double smileys for each and every one of you. It is a tradition at Edureka, okay? We take smileys, we give smileys back. We are sharing smileys over here. Okay then. So thank you guys for being here and for bearing me for so long. It is almost 2 hours, right? And I hope you won't run away before your second class. I hope you'll be coming to the second class that is scheduled for Wednesday, the same time, that is 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. Okay? So I hope you'll be coming there. You won't run away. I think I was not that bad. Now, finally, when I end this class, you shall be... Kalyan says, do we have any assignment? Absolutely, Kalyan. I'll be sending you the assignment along with the recording of the class, as well as I'll send you the installation guide to install Eclipse. Don't you worry about it. It's my responsibility. Okay? Now, as soon as I end the class, you shall receive a survey, okay? In that, you can rate the instructor, you can give your comments, you can rate the class, everything, okay? So give your comments, suggestion, so that I can improve myself and provide you a better class in future. Kalyan says, please send examples also. All the examples that I've taken in today's class, you shall receive the codes also that have been taken in the class. Kalyan. Anil says thanks. So guys, if you like me, you can write on the survey. If you don't like me, you can even do that. But don't forget to do it. Put your comments, suggestions, everything. There are 10 people in the class. I need 10 entries in the survey. Please do that. It's a request, a humble one. Devajit says, will you send a new link to that class, or this is the link, this link will work? You'll receive a separate link for every class that you'll be attending, okay? That will be a separate link and you shall receive it, and I won't be the one who will be sending it to you. There are other people who has this task, okay? Don't worry, you'll get it. Devajit. Ravi says, thanks, Vineet. Everyone, bye-bye, take care, thank you, good night for being here today, and we shall see you. We will meet again on Wednesday, the same time, that is 8 p.m. Thank you.